Hello Zwifties, welcome to another episode of Jizza Zwifts. Back this week for the Cobbled Crown route in Richmond for stage 3 of Zwift Games. This route's got 24 kilometres in distance, 288 metres elevation, and when the climbing starts it's intense. 1 minute efforts, really steep climbs on cobbled streets, and it's going to separate the pack. I'll be racing in Zwift's advanced category again, which usually consists of the best racers with their pace categories either in A+, A or the B category pacing. My pace category is B, so the slower end of that scale. So the first action is at 2 minutes in the race. We've got our first King of the Mountain segment. We've got a flyer going off the front who have been closing down for the last couple of minutes, and I'm not really caring about him at all. That's not my fight. But straight away as we get into this KOM segment, we've got guys popping their only power up for the race, just to stay in it on this first climb. And I'm slowly pedalling backwards, that's how it feels anyway. Yeah, guys crunching at 9-10 watts a kilo, quite easily, with their feather as well. I'm hitting 8 at most I think on this climb without my feather. And you can see from my face I'm really struggling to try and keep up with these guys. Every effort I'm putting in just doesn't seem to be doing anything, and I keep falling backwards further back away from the pack here. Going under this first banner, I've put myself in a terrible position. We're going to hit some cobbles, which just makes the rolling resistance awful, to try and build up any momentum to catch these guys, and I've given myself an awful lot of work to do. Yep, slowly losing draft from these guys. They've got the advantage here because they're riding in packs of at least 2 or more. I'm going to really struggle to get back on here. Second KOM, and terrible position, but I know I'm trying to give them all to catch these guys. I don't know why I'm looking behind me. I think I pressed the wrong button on my controller at the time. I'm giving it all I can to try and get up this hill, but just like that there's a massive gap. My watts drop, I'm down to 2-3 watts a kilo. The guys in front, they're still crushing out 5 watts a kilo, and they've got the momentum. Well, I'm busy reconsidering if I should even be racing in this category. So around the 5 kilometre mark, I'm joined by another few riders, stronger riders as well, a couple in the A+ category for their pace. And I think that might be my ticket to a bit of redemption in this race. Hoping I can stick the wheel with these guys and they might be able to pull me into the rest of the pack a bit later in the race. We've also got a Cat B rider in here, Remco. A very strong rider too, Cat B, but he's 53 kilos, so he's got the upper hand on me when it comes to any of these climbs in this route. And you can see a couple of the guys pushing out mega watts going up this steady climb. It's still quite draftable, but I'm having to put in a big dig just to make sure I don't get dropped with these guys as well. And I'm really suffering now, heart rate's up at the 180s, still doing about 4 watts a kilo. Remco's just flying away with his weight advantage, even ahead of the Cat A+ guys. They soon get their energy back, and once we get onto these flats we catch another rider, this Douglas, and with the pace and the aggressiveness of the A+ guys, we quickly drop him. Yuri, the Italian, here he's one of the A+ riders, but he responds to one of the breakaways from the Frenchman ahead, and I do well to try and keep his wheel here. So about 50 minutes into the race, we get the Frenchman Chatelis think he gets bored of us, to be honest, and he just drops a hammer, gives it the big ones, and pulls away at 7 watts a kilo. The Italian quickly responds. Yuri, he's at 7 watts a kilo as well, leaving me and Remco for dust. Just as we're going round this corner here, I do use steering just to try and get advantage to close any gap there, but I think it just triggers Remco, and what precedes is the most annoying game of cat and mouse I've ever had in Zwift. So Remco's got the advantage on me. He's a stronger rider, not just in the climbs, but appears to be on the flat as well. He's hitting 4.5 watts a kilo quite easily for a lot of these flat sections, and he's just taking a lot of delight going left and right here, left and right, trying to frustrate me into fall on his wheel to try and get my draft benefit. I can't be arsed with that, if I'm honest, and I just stick in the middle of the road. I won't get as much of a draft benefit from not being immediately behind him, but it's just much easier to manage. I'll happily sit just off his shoulder and get some draft, than follow his exact wheel to the inch. But yeah, quite comical or frustrating, boring. But we are getting chased down by guys behind us. When we started this cat and mouse carry on, there was a 22-second gap. That's down to 10 seconds now, and the guys are coming in quick. I do try and take turns at the front, try and build up some advantage, but before I know it, the guys are closing in. Remco likes to give a push at these banners. I don't know if he's got anything else in his agenda, chasing segments or something, or just trying to get rid of me. But it's a bit of a weird race. Around about the 16km mark, yeah, we got these 3 riders finally closing in on us. So we've got Douglas rejoining us that we dropped earlier, a Swedish guy and a guy from Norway. On to the final 4km of the race. This is where we've got the last 2 King of the Mountain sections. The Swedish guy that we had, Kellertag, just starts to begin to fade going up that climb. And I'm kind of determined at this point not to lose Remco, having had our cat and mouse earlier in the race and been a big part of the motivation to keep me pushing hard this race. So we'll go over the summit together, minus the Swede. And we get a few moments break on this flat and then downhill before going into the last remaining KOM of the route. So a strong 45-second effort needed here. I do start this climb quite well, but I think I scale it back a bit after reaching about 8 watts a kilo. I wasn't looking to go too far out in front of the guys and try and get a draft where I could, though they've quite slowed as well, so I'm not getting any draft really. And at this point Douglas starts putting in an effort. You see his wheels lighting up and other guys react and get right behind him. Remco really opens it up here, 10-11 watts a kilo, and I'm slow to react. Once I see Remco going, I decide to pop my featherweight. I think I panicked and popped it there because I'm not going to get a lot of benefit from the power up once I've crested over the summit there, and especially in this downhill section, having the featherweight is not going to be doing me any favours at all. Luckily the guys I think are resting. They know we've got just over 1.5 kilometres to go for the final banner. Now going into this, the Norwegian guy is pretty strong here. He starts getting a lead out front. I'm looking behind just to check where the guys are, but I don't think I can match the Norwegian. The first half of this race really took out my legs. It's averaging around 4 watts a kilo, which is way beyond what I'm used to even in these advanced category races. At this point as well, I need to remember Remco's got the advantage on me on these climbs. He starts moving in front. Also starts swerving. Another game of cat and mouse again from him, just to remind me that he's got controllers and steering. Now Douglas starts slipping away. He's around 7 metres behind at this stage, going into the flat. And we've only got half a kilometre left. I try to put a dig in, but you can see the draft bar at the top of the screen. It's getting smaller and smaller. I just don't have the legs after the end of this race to catch Remco. Slowly gaining on him as the draft bar comes back in. Again, I see his wheels light up. He's got some energy to spare. 10 watts a kilo he's pushing out going into that sprint. Yeah, and I give up the chase. I know that Douglas isn't catching me from behind, and I know I'm not catching Remco. So I just hobble over the finish line. 18th place out of 26 riders. Not over the moon, not disappointed overly. So I knew it was always going to be a tough race, this route. Definitely not my preferred route in Zwift. You can see Remco's watts a kilo just above me on the leaderboard, 4.4. He's way above what I'd be looking to compete with in these advanced races. Zwift Power results, they've got me at 18th with an expected placement of 18th. So pretty much bang on where I was predicted to be for this race. That's it guys for this week. I do have stage 4 already completed. I'm just behind on putting the videos together, so I'll have that up on the channel pretty soon. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.